Welcome, everybody. We're excited to be with you tonight. We've got a lot to cover because the guy we're going to talk about does a lot of things and a lot of things extraordinarily well. I met John Leguizamo when I, believe it or not, was a young producer at one point. And I was doing a series called The Talent Pool at a time when people were doing stand-up comedy, red brick, in front of red brick walls. We were looking to try to find character comedy and characters, people that did characters like Whoopi Goldberg and Lily Tomlin and Richard Pryor. And we heard about this young actor, John Leguizamo, was doing a show called Mambo Mouth. I went to see it. Wow. He had a magnetic personality that totally commanded the stage. He had a depth of characters, an insight, and a smart that you recognized as unique. And he was freaking funny. I mean, as funny as a stand-up in terms of jokes per minute at the same time. So it was an extraordinary experience. I'm excited to meet him. He agreed to do a TV special with us. He comes to the office. He says, hi, Albie, let's go. When are we shooting? He's ready to go, ready to go. I said, well, what sketches from Mambo Mouth are we going to do? He says, I'm not doing anything from Mambo Mouth. I just sold that to HBO. I was like, oh, well, what are we doing? He goes, don't worry about it. I got plenty of sketches, plenty of sketches. He pulls out all these sketches. He starts going through them. They're hilarious. One in particular is him as a woman in a park where he's talking about his life while eating fried chicken out of the bassinet of his young baby that's right in front of him. And the show was spectacular. And it began 3 decades of friendship, collaboration with this award-winning actor, writer, director, author, host, and incredible activist. So John Leguizamo, or Johnny Legs as we know it, please join us in our Shine Global interview tonight.
Hey, Albie. Yeah, I remember now that moment come into your office, and I was like, I'm not going to do anything from Mambo Mouth. Forget it. I can't. I sold it. I'll be in breach of contract. And you're like, what? We just hired this whole crew. Now we don't have any. I know I got millions. I got so much. We ended up doing that Raul Julia thing.
Got a lot. Yeah.
We ended up doing that. Breaking into Raul Julia's house is what it. Right?
Yeah, we did a short film of that. That was good. And that actually, just to be clear, was technically your first TV special, because I rushed it out a week ahead of HBO's Mambo Mouth, just so we could claim that we did John Leguizamo's
like
first.
Yeah.
But it was great. And, you know, those shows were so extraordinary, Johnny. Why did you start to do one-man shows? I mean, there weren't a lot of people doing them at the time, and it was kind of groundbreaking. There was some of those people, I think, who inspired you, like Pryor, and they had done some, but not up-and-comers like you. Why did you do it? Why did you start doing it?
Well, there were a lot of reasons I did the one-man show, Mambo Mouth, partly because, you know, as a Latin man, there wasn't a lot of stuff going on. That was part of the problem. There wasn't a lot of, you know, a lot of my friends were going to like 5 auditions a day, and we had gone to the same NYU school acting class, Tisch School of the Arts, and the same acting programs. And I was going to an audition every 5 months, and I was like, wait a minute, what's the disparity here? I mean, I don't understand. We studied. We done the same thing. Why don't I have the same opportunity? So I decided, right, I'm going to write what I see from my community and put it out there. And I borrowed from all the greats. I borrowed from Lily Tomlin. I borrowed from Eric Bogosian, one of the great monologists, Spalding Gray, and I created my own version, this new hybrid and autobiographical play. And then, you know, and then I had a lot of good luck, and you know, I did it at the American Place Theater with the late great Wynn Hanman, one of a national treasure acting teacher, one of the greats. And you know, I was lucky. Sam Shepard came to the theater. Arthur Miller, I got to meet him, and I see my theater was tiny because didn't totally believe in me, so I was in the hallway. I wasn't really in the theater.
That's right. You were in the hallway. That's right.
I was in the hallway.
You were literally in this set up little theater. That's right. I forgot about that. I had
70 fold-up seats, a movable platform, and I had to be done before the regular show. and then all of a sudden there's John F. Kennedy Jr. and Gloria Estefan, Raul Julia, Al Pacino, and I figured out, because I didn't want anybody to escape all these great celebrities. I never thought I'd meet them again. So I would run around the backstage and block the entrance, so they had to pass by me.
Right.
And have to say something nice, because what are you going to say if I'm standing right in front of you?
Well, but the intensity of going through these shows, and I've seen all of them, and I've seen you prepare for most of them. It's extraordinary. Tell us about the process of creating one, because you write, if rewrite, you go in an audience, you get reactions, you take it out of town, you work. Tell us, it's pretty intense.
It's an endless process. It's
right.
like you said, it's an endless process. It never stops. The day when they pull me off the stage on Broadway, that's when the last day I stopped writing. But I'm always tweaking it. I'm always trying to find a better line, a better way of saying something, a funnier line,
right.
Cutting stuff, because there's always a lot of fat in people's work. And, I started usually doing it for my brother in the early days, and then family, and then friends. And then there was this great artist community downtown in the LES, Lower East Side, back in the day, in the mid 80s. And there was these, because the city was broke, and it's a broke city is a great artist haven, because artists can afford to live together, and you create these cradles of civilization where writers, poets, playwrights, rock stars, comedians, actors, novelists, we all hang together and influence each other. And that was going on in the mid 80s. And we had Home, we had Gusto House, we had Knitting Factory, we had PS 122, La Cucaracha, all these places where you can go and try your stuff. So I would go from club to club to club and just work on it till they finally put it at the American Place Theater.
That's great. You have so many fans out there already. You're chatting us up. I encourage everybody, send in your questions. We're going to get to them. Put in your hellos. I see a Robert Small out there. I see a lot of folks who have been longtime fans of yours, John. So
thank
keep
you,
sending
everybody.
us the question. We're going to get to them all. You need the love too. I'll tell you, you need the love, right?
What, do you know something I don't know?
I do. Underneath it all, I know. So many plays, can't get to them all, but I want your reaction. I'm going to tell you all your plays.
I love your accent. Where's that from? Are you from Queens?
Are you from Queens? Yes, when I'm excited, it comes out. Usually I'm very articulate. Yes, I'm from Queens. And I was born in Flushing, but lived in Jackson Heights for 10 months.
You were conceived in Jackson Heights, born in Flushing, then white flighted from Jackson Heights
to Flushing. White flight, not much of a white flight, my friend.
Well, it's a process. White flight you can't get to the places you really want all the time. You just want to get a little further.
But it is funny talking about your home in Jackson Heights, which you just skipped to because it's so much fun. You were trying to get out. Now everybody's trying to get in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like diverse hipsterville.
After you left, it got rough. It got rough. I mean, I still had great times, but it was a rough neighborhood. I got beat up by a lot of people, and all the white flighters beat me before they left. The Italians, the Irish, the Jews, everybody beat me up. And then my Latin people came in and they beat me up too.
Right.
All my diaspora.
Everybody said before I leave, I better get over there and beat up Johnny Ray.
Beat up
like John. Tradition, right?
It is a teacher. Hey, get out of here. Forget about you. Hey.
But it did inform a lot of those shows. So here's tell me your reaction. One word.
It forged me.
Really did. It did. Mambo Mouth. Tell me about Mambo. One word. What about Mambo Mouth? Give me a one-word reaction.
Well, I found my audience, and Latin people found me. I found them, and it became this great sort of symbiotic relationship. They fed me and kept me doing my work, and they still just great loyal fans.
Spicorama.
Oh,
nice name, by the way.
Yeah. It was banned in Texas because of the title, and Canada. Spicorama. Well, Eddie Murphy borrowed that whole concept for Nutty Professor, but I'm cool. I'm not mad at you.
I was hoping you were going to go somewhere there. You know, remember I did the videos for that for you. It was
Oh
fun.
yeah. We did multimedia
little roll-in videos.
Yep.
Yeah,
I appreciate you for that.
that
I'll pay you someday.
Someday, it's on the list. Don't worry, it's on the list.
You can stay in my new house at near your old house.
I'll walk down there. I'll break and enter. Freak. What about Freak?
Oh, well, you know, autobiography, self-autobiography, you know, which itself is redundant, but it was the first one-man show that was autobiographical and a play at the same time. And, you know, it was groundbreaking for me in a lot of ways, because I was able to deal with a lot of trauma that I had grown up with. There was a lot of, you know, violence in my household and outside. And I found a way to make it funny now. And comedy was always sort of my escape, my salve, my panacea. And I was able to put it into art. And my therapist, I love my therapist, Dr. T, he's always like, John, art is you play God with your trauma. And that is exactly what I was doing.
Is there a favorite character, Miggy, or I mean, you had such great characters in there. Is there any one that sticks out in your mind that you?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Miggy character from Spikorama, because he was like me, this hyperactive,
right,
ADHD kid, a lot to say and a lot to give, and it was very frustrating for teachers.
Right. I flipped back to Miggy because your hat. You were wearing the hat.
Rose, is that me or you?
What about Sexaholic?
Or am I freezing? Oh, there we go.
You are freezing a little bit, but you're back. How about Sexaholic? Thoughts on that?
Zoom, it happens.
Let's see.
That was kind of a mistake.
Sexaholic was a mistake, or freezing is a mistake? You're freezing on your end. I don't know if you.
I think it is my end. Is that better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I'm looking at your photo. We lost your video for a minute, but
yeah, I don't know why it's freezing. Is that unfreezing now?
You're back visual, but you are freezing. Yes. All right. I think it's a trick. I think you're doing some kind of trick on me there. Are you?
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. You're back. Let's see if you can stay back.
Oh, shoot. It happens at the DNC too, doesn't it?
It's the new reality. It's the new reality. Maybe we should turn off your video and just audio for a while.
Sure.
Yeah, let's just do that, and then we'll try to come back in. So Sexaholic, what are your thoughts about Sexaholic?
Sexaholic was a mistake. It was a mistake because, because I shared too many personal stories, and they came to bite me in the ass.
Okay. Want to share any again now?
Oh yeah, that thanks a lot. What are you working for the other side?
Ghetto Clown, which was fantastic. The Class Clown was the original title, right?
Right. Ghetto Clown was. I think it was my magnum opus. I think everybody's been trying to crack sort of the celebrity memoir autobiographical play, and it took me like 7 years to figure out how to crack that. Right. Crack the code on that.
All right, let's try your video again. See if we can get you back in here.
How is that? Is that better? Am I here?
We are here. Let's see if we can keep you.
Yeah,
Blink
right.
Twice. Blink twice if you're not frozen. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Okay. You can
just messing with you. Just fucking with you.
That's great. You're fucking with me. So Ghetto Clown was based a lot on the book, right?
Yeah.
You
I got you that time.
You got me there. You're a good actor, You're a good actor.
Well, I freeze well.
Ghetto Clown, a lot of it was based on your book, right? Or was it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Based on my autobiographical piece called "Pimps, Hoes, and all the and Player Haters and the Rest of My Hollywood Friends." And it kind of tells the whole story, like artist coming of age, you know, my childhood and what led me to acting, and how I, you know, was mentored by these great, my math teacher, Mrs. Ufa, who said to me, you know, if they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, they can make something out of you, Mr. Leguizamo. And he was the first person to believe in me, seriously, and told me to, you know, start taking acting classes or comedy classes, and I owe him a lot for putting me on my path. And so I talk about all the mentors and all the people that helped me get here, because you don't get here by yourself, especially where you come from, where I come from. You need people to put their hand on you and go, you know, you're worth something, and you can do this.
You know, you also talked about your relationship with other actors and directors, which was, you know, great insight into acting and to the experience of being on a set and what went into that. And I thought that was fascinating as well. In that.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about Carlitos Way with Pacino, and you know, I was kind of a young punk actor, and here I was with my hero, and I just wanted him to respect me more than anything in the world. So I felt like the only way he would respect me, so if I went toe to toe with him, and it was a mistake, because you know, I just became really annoying. Because I wanted to up him, you know, up him all the time. Right. And I thought that's what would impress him and make him respect me. But no, nobody respects that. And so, you know, it got a little, you know, a little tense, but it still came out great on camera.
Well, I thought it was brilliant, as most of them wanted. And then the latest Latin History for Morons, which is really, in some way, a masterpiece, because it's not only winds in some autobiographical pieces about your experience as a Latinx, but also about history lesson about how the world has persecuted Latinx and erased it from history, yeah. As well as being hilariously funny and creating an unbelievable amount of characters in that as you go through history and you act out all these historical figures. It really is a masterpiece, John. It really was.
Well, you know, it was a very important piece for me, because my son was being bullied at school, and I wanted to give him, you know, ammunition, but verbal ammunition. You know, I want to weaponize information for him. I didn't want him to do the same things that I did, because, you know, I wanted us to evolve somehow, you know. And then I started doing all this research, and I ended up realizing that I was the one that was getting the education. I was the one that was fortifying myself and finding out this incredible amount of information that isn't in any of our history textbooks, that 10,000 unknown Latino patriots fought in the American Revolution. Out of 80,000 troops, we were 1 in 8. We had General Galvez in the South, who had an army of 3,000 Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Mexican Americans, freed slaves, and they kicked the British all out of the South, so that the British couldn't surround the patriots in New England. Not the football team. And 20,000 of us fought in the Civil War. And this one woman, Loretta Vasquez, fought as a man. She was the first transgender military officer. And I found all this incredible information. Gil Bosques, in World War II, this Mexican ambassador, saved 40,000 Jews in France. He rented 2 churches and put Jews in there to protect them, and then gave them asylum in Mexico. So I mean, there's so much great history, and it's
so
not
much,
out there.
So much.
Yeah.
And
so
it's not out there. And then the way you went through the 4 groups of your heritage, your 23andMe with the Taínos and everyone, and you showed how many millions were eradicated. It was really devastating. It really and to the point about now where, you know, we're taking down statues of Southern generals, right?
Yes.
And you and I talked about this. I mean, the first statue that needs to come down is Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you know, I know Cuomo and de Blasio don't want it. I go, yo, there's a lot more Italian heroes. Come on, you got a lot more great heroes. You don't need to hold on to Columbus. You can let him go. He was a horrible man. I mean, he came here and he basically set up concentration camps in the Caribbean. He would separate the men and the women, wouldn't let them have sex or love for 6 months. They had to work. And if they didn't produce enough gold, he would chop their hands and tie them and make them carry them around their necks. If they tried to run away, he would slice their feet, burn them alive. And then eventually, complete genocide in the Caribbean of the Arawaks and the Tainos. And that's Columbus. And he had a pedophilic ring of 9-year-old girls that he would write in his journals to invite his friends how great it is to come to the Caribbean. So
he was the first Jeffrey Epstein. He was the first Jeffrey Epstein.
He was the original Jeffrey Epstein.
You've done so much and dealt so much about Latin identity. Question from Andre. What do you think of the term Latinx?
I love it. I love it because, we come from such a macho culture, and the word Latino is a masculine word, and it can disenfranchise women. But if you say Latinx, it's all of us. I think it's a great way to make amends and make sure that women are included.
The Latin history is so brilliant. It's inspired us, and you and I working now on a movie inspired by that whole idea, where we can take a father and daughter time traveling through history. And you're such a terrific actor and movie maker, now director. I want to just switch up to movies for a minute. The first movie we worked on together was Inocente.
Beautiful piece.
Homeless 9-year-old girl on the streets for 3-4 years, who turned into an artist, and it was really special to work on. And you came aboard graciously as an EP to help us get that movie out. Can you talk a little about being involved with Shine there?
I mean, Shine is such an incredible organization. I mean, I'll be big ups to you. Big ups because it's such a powerful organization. Because I feel like film documentaries really shine light. Not to borrow your title, Shine Global, but it does shine light. I mean, it helps people empathize. If you know people's story and you can be in their shoes through film, it's the best way to create empathy. And being a part of that documentary about this young artist who was homeless I couldn't sit through one screening without, losing crying like a fool. But because it just touched me so much, and it brought a lot of attention. It did bring a lot of attention, and all your films do. They do exactly what they need to do: bring attention to subject matter that people don't really want to look at or deal with.
Yeah, thank you. You really helped us do that, and I just want to say for everybody out there, this is why we make these films: to shine a light on problems that are not seen, to bring hope in the horror of lives, and to look after our children, because if we don't look after them, who will? So help us do that. I just want to encourage you all to go to Shine Global, our website, and sign up on our mailing list so you can see more events like this and be part of Shine and see what other activities we have. I would really appreciate you guys going there. So jumping on movies, as an actor, doing one-man shows. Now you're moving to another medium. How do you approach it differently as an actor? I mean, you're out there in a one-man show. Now you're in a movie. Someone else is directing you. You're not your own boss. You have a role. You have a script. You have interpretation you can do, but you're still working with someone else. How do you approach that?
Well, yeah, all the work is kind of similar. I mean, you're always trying to embody a character. The only thing in a one-man show, I'm playing all the characters. So the level of concentration, either like a crazy person or it's successful. But the level of concentration is so intense. And I use the method, I embody the character. I see the locations. So I don't feel alone on stage because I'm using my imagination. But on the set, I don't have to do any of that. That's the beauty of a movie. It's just like, I just got to be present and be ready to be as open as possible. So it's a little different It's more like sparring. You know, you just got to be there and be loose, and it's fun that way. And in the theater, it's more like I have to really be in it, and it has to consume me completely so that I don't feel lost or confused because I'm alone on stage.
Talking about being on stage, Emily wanted to tell you that Freak really captured the experience of many of her students who live in Hell's Kitchen. And she's wondering, you know, they gave her a context to connect. Have you ever thought about touring schools with it? Because it's or one of your plays?
You know, the material was always a little edgy. Because I did think of it a lot and people wanted me to, but it was like, it was hard to edit because I took a lot of scenes. I mean, there was a lot of, you know, I brought in the era of sperm jokes. I ushered in that era in
Polite
98.
way of saying it. That's right.
Yeah. I was trying to find the best word for it.
Definitely NR rated on Broadway.
Yeah. So that was an issue. I mean, there was a lot of vulgarity and sexual inappropriate material for high schools. I'm with Latin History for Morons. I'm doing a graphic novel with Macmillan Books, and I finally figured out how to, you know, tone it all down, take out the identity politics, the sexual innuendo and vulgarities, and still keep the integrity of the story.
Great. Have you thought of? Oh well. Somebody just asked, have you thought about writing a book? We did just ask, and you like channeled her question, so that's great. You know,
but I'm also writing another book with Scholastic. I'm going to write like a history curriculum type book, 5,000 things you need to know about Latinx, and I'm going to try to put all this great information that I've been mining all these years. Like we invented the color TV. An Argentine person invented the ballpoint pen. All this great information, you know, and then it'll be in this book so they could use it in school as curriculum, or people can have it at home and go through it with their kids.
That'll be important. Thanks for doing that. Rose wants to know, talking about again LHFM, as we say, you know, what was your son's reaction to being, you know, in the narrative in a way? Did he have? Sorry, recognized it. So did he have a reaction to that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was worried that it might be a negative reaction because I was kind of keeping this alive for too long instead of letting him, you know, move past it.
Right.
But I think in the end he saw that he was my hero and that I was really proud of him for making it through those 2 years. So I think it had some kind of healing force for both of us, because it was an incredibly tough time for all of us as a family. You know, you're only as happy as your saddest child. You know, that's just the way it is.
You talked about children, doing work for children. You know, again, the diversity of your portfolio work is extraordinary. To be able to go from that to you mentioned, you know, Benny Blanco, who's totally crazy character, and then to Sid in Ice Age and the Ice Age franchise. So for those of you who do or don't know, he's the voice of Sid the Sloth in one of the biggest, probably I think it's the top 3 animated franchises in history. And John's character is a central piece of that. And it is great that you can channel that. And again, a couple of questions there. What's it like? Why do you like doing that stuff? And it's for kids. And how do you approach voiceover work?
Well, Mel Blanc was my hero. Mel Blanc was, to me, one of the great comedians, and he played all the voices. You know, he did all the voices. Right. It's unbelievable when you look back at those cartoons. He does every single voice, and so well. And so I've always been a big fan.
Hashtag Looney Tunes, everybody.
Oh yeah, hashtag Looney Tunes all the way, all the way. So when I do Ice Age, I mean, I really wanted to become the character, and I gave the director like 50 voices on a CD or whatever it was back in the day, you know, and I gave him, you know, it's a slow. So I said, what if I talk like this, like kind of Southern, kind of slow, a little bit slow? And nah. But if he was from Southeast Asia and he had the accent, like this could be wonderful. No. And I said, well, if he was ghetto and he talked like that all the time, and the director just was not buying any of it. So I said, send me as much Discovery Channel footage you have on sloths. And I found out that they stored food in their cheek pouches. So I put a sandwich in my mouth and I started walking around the house going, how am I going to come up with this stupid voice? It's ridiculous. I can't believe it doesn't like, and I was like, oh my God, this is, and then I called the director. I go, Chris Wedge, guess who this is? It's Sid the Sloth. I found myself. And that's how he did it.
That's great. Are you anything like Sid?
Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah. I'm a big kid.
You are a big kid. So you also did things like Luigi and Super Mario's. That was like a crazy, you know, sort of up in your career. It's like a good thing. And then you go over to Carlitos Way and then to Wong Fu. I mean, God, for people out there who are Johnny fans, to Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, is like a cult masterpiece. I mean, first of all, I know you did him in your stage plays, but then seeing you on screen as a woman, I mean, you're hot.
Easy now. Yeah, I was always afraid if I did things wrong and I went to prison, you know, I'd be a prison bitch. and somebody once gave away my address to the incarcerated, and I started getting tons of fan mail, and you know, I appreciate it, but I was a little nervous too. But yeah, you know, it was a groundbreaking piece because here was Patrick Swayze, this Studley action figure, and Wesley Snipes, and nobody was doing that. That was a big risk in their careers. I was very proud of both of them for diving into those characters as committed, and they really wanted to become these characters. You know, we did these trainings. We went to La Escuelita, which was in Times Square, which was a drag queen ballroom. And the three of us went there, and we went there several times to study. And then we were assigned drag queens to teach us, like RuPaul. Yeah, like the RuPaul drag race, till we got it right, because we wanted to represent correctly. So eventually, my character, Chichi Rodriguez, became a teenage icon for LGBTQ kids. So I'm very proud of that.
That's cool. That is great. And you got a Golden Globe for that. Congratulations. You also had an interesting take about the white skin, the color of the skin, right? In terms of the character and
like it was this little cat. Yeah, Albie, I can't believe you do it. You go in depth. You think you're Barbara Walters or something? What are you doing?
Well, I just found it fascinating.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because, you know, I some of my relatives are very, very, very dark skinned, but they were still like they would wear makeup that was like 20 shades lighter than their neck, and I was like, what is that about? You know, obviously some self-hating, crazy, you know, sort of they've adopted some self-hate, and so I wanted to put that in the character, and then the character evolves at the end. And she matches her skin color to her neck, so that she's brown instead of being, you know, just white, like white face, kind of basically white face.
Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty fascinating there. Allison has a question because of, again, just like me, all of the things you've worked in film and TV and books. And what's your favorite medium?
Oh wow, my favorite medium. That's a tough one. I guess stage is such a powerful medium because, I mean, I've had my best experiences as a young man. I got to see Al Pacino in American Buffalo, and I sat in the front row. My mom got me tickets when I was my 17th birthday, and he spit all over me. I felt I was baptized into acting. It was incredible. And then I got to see Whoopi Goldberg on stage, and it just changed me. And Lily Tomlin's show, and Philip Seymour Hoffman in a Long Day's Journey to Night, and those experiences will never leave me. And so I'm hoping that when I'm on stage, people can feel some of that, you know, that it stays with them, and that they're transformed, and that they'll never be the same, but they'll be better.
Absolutely. And part of that is the resilience you've shown going up and down in your career, mostly up, but there's been all of these.
Hey, everybody has ups and downs.
Exactly. And I know, but I think that's important. I mean, you just like, I remember there were moments where you did, you had a great movie, and then you did get a TV show as a result. You do House of Buggin', and you thought this is going to be the next SNL for Latinx, and sort of died an evil death. Didn't deserve it,
but to my credit, there weren't a lot of Black or Latin Nielsen homes in those days.
Right.
Because I bet you my ratings were a lot bigger than they reported, but they were not. I think we were like 3%, even though we were 15% of the population, and Black households were the same. Way underrepresented.
Soon after that became a big of a scandal. Not enough to help you out, but
no, too late to help me out. Yeah,
too late. And then you had some big movies, and then they give you a movie past, and you're a star of your own movie, and then that didn't do so well, and then you're like, so you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up. I mean, you know, how do you deal with that? I think it's just like,
well, because I try to chase things that I'm turned on by. I want to challenge myself, and I try not to worry about the box office or critics, because I can't live by them. I got to live by my inner voice and by my inner drive and my inner vision, and not be outer directed. I mean, who can do that? You can't be an artist and be outer directed. You can't be chasing critics and awards and box office. You'll never be able to be happy or create. And I'd rather create. I'd rather continue to create limitlessly and have my own barometer of what's good or bad.
You know, we're gonna wrap up in a little bit, because you know, there's another show coming on at 9 o'clock that's important to people.
Oh my God, how good is it? Last night's DNC crushed me. I loved it.
I think it's amazing, because I think the intimacy of these moments, like this one to me, is important. People are just speaking directly and from the heart and intensely to people without the hoopla.
Obama went there. I didn't think he was going to go there, because he's always a politician, but he went there. Yeah. Kamala came to light. She owned that moment. And Hillary poking Trump all over the place. I loved it. Oh my God. And then that immigrants montage, I mean, that broke. I was weeping like a baby. And the women's suffrage movement. Oh, that had me in tears as well. So
very powerful stuff. And the healthcare, the young man with ALS, it was terrible. A couple more quick questions to the audience before I wrap up here. Sean asks, how do you stay inspired as a performer during COVID? I know you're doing a lot of benefits like this one, which we really
I am doing.
But how are you staying inspired? I know you're always working on 12 projects. You're working on a comic book. You're working on
I'm working on a lot of things, because I mean, I think the good thing about this is I mean, the bad thing was all my work was canceled or postponed till November now. But I had all this free time now to focus on the things that mean something to me. So I'm working on these musicals, Kiss My Aztec, sort of a Spam-A-Lot meets, Spam-A-Lot, about the Aztec conquest. Really funny, great lyrics, hilarious. Hopefully on Broadway soon. And working on my comic book, Phenom X and the Uncontrollables. I've been dying to see a Latinx superhero, and hopefully this will be the one.
And your movie trailer blew me away for Critical Thinking, which is coming out September 4th, downloaded on Amazon and iTunes. For John directed this movie and found this true story and brought it to life. Please tell us about that, because
this movie
is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we got to South by Southwest, even though it didn't happen, and Deauville Film Festival, but it didn't happen. But this is a true story of 5 kids, Latinx, from Miami's worst ghetto neighborhood, Liberty City. Now they call it Overtown. And in 1998, they became first regional champs in chess, then state champs, and then eventually national champs, chess champions in the USA. And it was because of this teacher. I mean, the kids were gifted, but this teacher, Mario Martinez, who I play in the movie, was this incredible guy, such a nurturer, man, really committed to the kids. And he felt like they had talent. And in this ghetto, the kids either went the bad way or football. And what happened to the ghetto nerds? There was no place for them. And he created this environment, this safe space where they could feel good about themselves. And he gave them the intellectual knowledge and the book knowledge to beat everybody, because they had the passion and the drive. They just needed the book knowledge, and they got it, and they crushed it.
It's really looks great. September 4th, iTunes, Amazon, and I will want everybody
Voodoo
to
everywhere.
Look at this everywhere. I want people to remember this moment when John is checking into a tournament, checking his team into a tournament, and the guy doesn't believe that he should be there, essentially, and he makes sure to tell them, and as soon as you lose, you have to leave immediately. And John looks him right in the eye with the JL look, and he says, "We won't be losing." And that's
Sucker.
that impish, threatening, power of truth, John Leguizamo look.
They said, Jackson Heights, you got it too, Albie. You bring it. I've seen it come out of you. You got it too, bro.
Well,
don't try to play me.
This has been a lot of fun. We go on another 3 hours. Hopefully we'll do a part 2. I want to just say thanks to John. I want to say a thank you, shout out to Amber, and I'd love you to shout out to Amber Ko, John, who produced this with me, came up with the research. She's a huge fan. You've met her at a couple of your shows.
Work. I thought it was all you,
she's
man.
Really, you know me. Got our people. So I want to say, thanks to John. Stay safe, everybody. Go to shineglobalplease.org and look at our website, see the films we're making, sign up for our emails. It'd be great if you opted in so we can give you information. Make a little donation if you're so inclined. It would be great. And we really would love to see you on another one of our events. So, Johnny, great to see you.
Well, thank you, Albie. Thank you for all the great work you do, man. I appreciate you.